Hey there YouTube, it's MrLuBuFu. I've been planning this video for a good long while and I finally got around to doing it. So I wanted to talk about people and improving yourself as a Magic player, since everyone wants to do that. So I went, and being an engineer that I am, I went to you can check your Planeswalker points and the record of all of your matches, and I went and I took them all and I put them all into this Excel spreadsheet. Oh, that big long list. And I marked out an important notice. So I've been to 3 PTQs and an SCG Open. There's not that many nearby, so it's kind of unfortunate. Haven't been into any GPs, and unfortunately I can't go to GP Denver since it's Legacy, and I'm broke as hell. Also, I don't like Legacy. But what I did is I went and I graphed out my FNM, as if you look over here, FNM, and then total meaning if there was a major tournament. So if you look at the SCG Open, I went 403, and it's all zeros involving FNM. And so I went and I tried to see, how have I improved as a player statistically. So overall, I have a 70% match record for FNM, and about the same overall. So at any given game of Magic I have played in the history of my recorded events, I have a 70% chance to win, which is pretty good, I would like to think. But I mean, it's not like Louis Scott Vargas or any other pros that, like, if they're playing someone that's not a pro, they'll win most of the time. But I kind of wanted to talk about evolution of me as a player. So I'm going to start. The important statistics are going to be down here in the middle. So before I went to a PTQ, I started actually going to FNMs. The first one I went to was the Scars of Mirrodin release, not pre-release, release. I think I won, and I played a decent amount, and I did not know how to draft very well. These are pretty much all drafts. There's very little constructed. I think there's one constructed event in this pre-PTQ Denver. And so if you look, my FNM and my total, before I went to a PTQ or anything, they're the same. And I had a 61% match win rate. And so then I went to my first PTQ. And I learned a little bit, and not too much. But I went and I competed, and I was like, okay, so this is how other people are playing, how good players are playing. And if you notice, between PTQ Denver 2 and PTQ Denver 1, so I had a good number of matches. My win percentage went up about 3% at FNM, and just very slightly overall. So that's, as you can see, my win percentage was just slightly higher than 61% at the first PTQ. So I was like, okay, I'm staying pretty much the same, got a little bit better overall. And after my second PTQ was when I said, I'm actually going to start playing more, or start learning some of the intricacies. So I've mentioned them in some video, and I just worked really, really hard to try and improve myself as a player. So if you notice, my FNM 1 percentage went from 64 to 80. My total went up 13% from 2 PTQs, one of them being a top 8. So it was during that point where just I would argue, from a lot of practice, i.e. 66 wins, 35 losses, so that's 95, nearly 100, a little bit more, and that's slightly more than 100 matches of FNM by themselves. So that's like 30 weeks. Is that long? A good number of weeks, so a very long time. Yeah, somewhere around 30 weeks. I'm trying to think through pre-releases and stuff like that, but it was a lot of time where I'd play and practice and learned the intricacies. So if you looked at the scale, I looked at the scaling of this. It started out around the 60% and then got up near the end. After the second Denver PTQ, I knew I wanted to get more involved and more, into starting. I want to win I want to win a PTQ. That is what I want to do. I want to go to a pro tour, and I want to record it. I want people to join me on the journey. So I started practicing a lot more, started focusing more on top tier plays, how to think, how to play. Channel Fireballs helped me a lot, Star Cities helped me a lot. YouTube has not really, I mean, explaining stuff for YouTube has been really, really useful. And so, so I would argue just by having a ton of practice and play and playing all sorts of people on, not so much like Magic Online for standard events, but for draft, yes. I actually did not start draft until here, but you'll see that in a second. But just playing all sorts of people in different events and playing better people specifically. So finding people that were better than me and going against them. There's one other person in my local game store who always drafts very, very well. And whenever we're not in the same pod, we play against each other, just so I can get better. And so, after the second Denver PTQ, I said, you know, I'm going to start buckling down, and I did. And I had a 80% win percentage at FNM, and 76 overall. Again, helped by a top 8 finish. And one of the things I have not mentioned distinctly is, since PTQ Fort Collins, I want to win a Pro Tour. I want to start playing in more major... I want to win a PTQ. I want to go to a Pro Tour. I want to start playing in more major tournaments. So this is why, if you've heard in recent videos, I'm going to go to states this year. I'm actually going to compete in constructed events. You can see that since PTQ Fort Collins, which was in May, I have a 91% match win rate at FNM. I've lost once at an FNM since May, which is pretty good. At least at FNM. At SCG Open, it's slightly lower. Like you can see, it's a 78% win percentage. So you can see that my FNM is a little bit weaker than, you know, probably other high level ones, which is a little bit sad. But hey, what are you gonna do about it? You play with what you got, and I love where I play FNM. But I've been doing very well recently, and that's my goal, is just try and improve my play radically since the PTQ in Fort Collins. So I don't know why I made this video. I just kind of wanted to talk about, you know, for those of you that are still down here in the 60% or struggling in draft, or you just started, you know, don't give up. Keep your hopes up. Get all sorts of information that you can, if you want to start like stepping it up radically. So Channel Fireball is a good website. Star City Games. I do have a month of free premium that I haven't used yet that I got from the SCG Open, so I should probably do that. But even their free articles are quite useful. And look out for those YouTubers that, you know, are doing stuff. Cough myself, cough. And see what they're doing. So one of the things I generally don't. I'm going so tangential. I apologize. One of the things that I try and do is I don't post many deck techs because I pretty much just play competitive standard lists. I will have one for the deck I'm building for states that I'm still playtesting and checking out how I'm going to make this work. A little bit too broke for one of the ideas, so I'm just going to stick with this. But one of the things I'm going to... no, I'm not going to... If you guys want to see me make a tangent, because I've made a video in the past where it was, you know, how to improve yourself as a player. Just like little things. I know there were some very introductory things, but there were some other ones like know your own tells and stuff like that some people liked. If you want me to make a video about how to build a constructed deck, and I'm not saying, you know, put 24 lands, 36 spells, or whatever. I'm saying if you want to start building competitive standard decks, let me know. Leave a comment down below. And if this video was just me rambling on, well, I'm sorry. Hopefully you guys, I don't know, drew invisible mustaches on my face or something like that. I don't know. Well, I'm losing my voice again, so I'm gonna stop talking. Thank you guys for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe.